Industrial Revolution. Now subtopics: Industrial Revolution in Britain. Why it started in Britain? What were the causes, factors? What were its chief features? Major consequences of Industrial Revolution. Condition for industrialization. Invention under Industrial Revolution. What were the inventions made and because of which industrialization was possible? What were the socio-economic effects of Industrial Revolution? The Industrial Revolution stands for the fast changes that came in production and in means of transport and communication with the use of machinery. Before the Industrial Revolution, artisans manufactured goods at their houses by using simple tools with the help of all members of the family. As the Industrial Revolution occurred, factories were set up where production began to be done with machines, then simple tools. The Industrial Revolution occurred first in England because she had market, labourers, money and machines. Hargreaves' spinning jenny, Cartwright's power loom, James Watt steam engine and the development of means of transportation and agricultural implements initiated the Industrial Revolution. First of all, the steam engine was used in mining industries. As the demand for coal and metal increased, efforts were also made to obtain them from ever deeper mines. Flooding was another serious problem in mines. In 1698, Thomas Sandry built a model steam engine to drain mines. It was called as Miner's Friend. Initial canals were constructed to transport coal. Canals were also usually built by big landowners so that the value of the mines, quarries and forests in their lands could be increased. Men's wages were very less, which is why women and children were forced to work so to supplement the meager wages of men. Cotton textile industry employed the children because it was easy for them to move between factory packed machinery. They were forced to work for long hours. Coal mines were dangerous places to work in. Sometimes the roofs of the mines fell and there was water gushes through, or there was shortage of oxygen. All these accidents occurred. Child labor was considered as very important training for future factory work by the factory owners. More than 50% of the factory workers had started work with an age even less than 10 years. Women labor not only proved useful but harmful as well for women themselves. Money gave them financial independence and they could stand on their own feet. This increased their self-respect. In the 1850s, women and children constituted around 2/3 of the total labor force working in the manufacturing and trade. Men were given meager 25 shilling per week as wages, but women were given 7 shilling and children were given only 1 shilling for the same length of work. Condition of work were quite bad. They fell a victim to restlessness, epidemics and diseases. Several acts were passed in England to improve the condition of workers. Through these acts, workers were able to get a right to protest for achieving the rights. Pause. Factors responsible for Industrial Revolution in Britain. The first country where Industrial Revolution started, that was Britain. Plentiful capital. Britain had accumulated large amounts of money by foreign trade. The British merchants were very rich and could invest their capital in industries. Availability of raw material. Britain could easily obtain raw material for its factories from her colonies. Landless unemployment. Agricultural revolution had greatly increased the number of landless peasants in Britain. These people were ready to work in factories at low wages. Reserve of coal and iron. Sufficient reserves of coal and iron were available in Britain. These were located close to each other, which made the easy establishment of industries. New inventions. Britain witnessed many technical inventions. The manufacture of manufacturing of steam, railways, steam engine and steamship brought rapid changes in industries. The chief feature of industrial revolution in Britain. In the second half of 18th century, rapid changes came in industrial space in Britain. This has been named as industrial revolution in history. The following were the features. The industrial revolution occurred first of all in Britain. Britain had new material. Britain had raw materials. Then the domestic system was replaced by the factory system. Large cities were set up and factories established. Machines were used in cities. The industrial revolution based on the machine that brought astonishing progress in the production of textile industry. Machines built by Hargreaves and Arkwright created a revolution. Means of transport were developed and work and mines were improved. British economy shifted from agriculture to industry. Peasants became mill workers. The industrial revolution deteriorated, declined the worker condition. They were forced to work for 15 to 18 hours. Their colonies were often affected by disease and epidemics. Now, consequences of the industrial revolution. The industrial revolution resulted in various significant consequences. Due to industrial revolution, cottage industry was replaced by factories. As a result, people ran from small industries in home, had to shut down their industries and work on bases in factories. Before the industrial revolution, most of the villagers were dependent on agriculture. Often all the needs of people were fulfilled in village, but now cities became centers of economic life and village peasants left village and settled in cities. Thus most of people had no concern with land. Rise of population in cities created the problems of housing, health and sanitation. The industrial revolution greatly increased production, as a result of which goods are available at cheaper rates. Workers had to work continuously for long hours in polluted environment in factories and were paid low wages. Consequently, their health condition became worse. Due to the industrial revolution, ill profits went to capitalists or industrialists. As a result, capitalists got strength. The industrial revolution later led to the development of colonialism, imperialism and socialism. The condition for industrialization. Generally, M factors are very much necessary for industrialization. These are money, material, machine, market, man. Money is required to establish an industry. Machine could be brought with money. Near availability of material or raw material is very helpful for industrialization. Non-availability of material in the nearby areas could have adverse effect on profits. Market is very much necessary for consumption of furnished goods. Most important of all these is man, who is proved very helpful in the production and consumption of material. Cause inventions which were made under industrial revolution. Flying shuttle. It was designed by John Kay in 1733. Spinning jenny. This machine was made by James Hargreaves in 1765. Water frame. It was invented by a barber, namely Richard Arkwright, in 1769. The mule was invented in 1779 by Samuel Crompton. The power loom was invented by Edmund Cartwright in 1787. The cotton gin, it was invented by this significant brought revolution in cotton textile. The cylinder printing machine. The cylinder printing machine was designed by the last years of the 18th century. This invention brought great change in the washing and dyeing of clothes. The steam engine, it was invented by James Watt. Made many improvement in it. Revolution in iron and coal industry. There was a constant demand for coal for the progress of the industrial revolution. Consequently, there came many revolution change in the iron and coal industry. Now coke began to be used in place of charcoal for something. For smelting iron, earlier even machine were made of wood. Now wood was replaced by iron. Now, revolution in road construction, means of transport were very necessary for industrial progress. Roads had been in bad condition before the industrial revolution. It was very difficult to carry goods from one place to another. Now, revolution in canal building. Construction of canal began to transport bulky goods like iron and coal. The first canal in England was built in 1791 under the supervision of an engineer, Brindley. Railway engine in 1814, George Stephenson made the first locomotive engine which ran on steam power. In 1830, the first railway line was constructed between Manchester and Liverpool. Thus, a new change occurred in the development of means of transport. Pause. Socio-economic effects of industrial revolution. Rise in national income. This revolution made England the world's largest industrial nation. She established her trade relation with other countries. Her goods were sold abroad, so her national income greatly increased. End of cotton industries. Establishment of new industrial towns. Before the industrial revolution, there were only a few towns in England, but the industrial revolution contributed to the establishment of large towns. Therefore, many large industrial towns such as Manchester, Lancashire, Birmingham, Sheffield came into being in England. Sufficient and cheaper goods. Invention of machine resulted in the sufficient production of goods. They were cheaper and so people easily began to buy them. Increase in unemployment. Elimination of home industries was the worst effect of the industrial revolution. Now a single machine could do the work of many persons. Consequently, people who did not manual labor were rendered employed. Emergence of new causes. The industrial revolution gave birth to two new classes. Emergence of new classes gave birth to two new classes, namely the workers and the capitalists. The capitalists made the workers work at lower wages. Consequently, the poor became poorer and the whole wealth of the country began to be accumulated by the capitalists. Someone has rightly said the industrial revolution made the wealthy wealthier and the poor poorer. Increase in number of landless laborers. The industrial revolution forced small farmers to sell their plots. Some craftsmen became laborers. Exploitation of women and small children. Ill effect of workers' health. Now, pause.